Hey everybody, Miss Hooper. I hope you're getting ready for the school year, that you're excited as I am. Um, it's been a while since I've attended the Mark Wood camp. I've been meaning to do a video after that, but I got sick. Then I ended up traveling, and then school year's getting ready, so I've been crazy with that. So this video is long overdue. I do intend to do a reflection video on my experiences at the rock camp this year, so you can see what I've learned. But in the meantime, I want to give this little accountability video. So when I was a music student, both in public school and in college, I remember being told what to practice, and I remember a couple tips on how to practice it, but I was never taught about things like setting my own practice schedule, setting my own goals, making a plan. I was just simply told, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And being a lazy college student, being a lazy, well, just lazy in general, I always did the bare minimum. I was like, okay, this is the lowest, this is the bar that my teacher set for me, so I'm gonna go here, maybe there. But, I'm not gonna try to go anything overly beyond. So I'm now regretting that. And so over the years, I've been doing research on how to practice for yourself, how to set your own goals, decide what you want, and creating a plan and getting resources and so on. So in an effort to save you from my mistakes, for you to learn from my experiences, I decided to create a practice plan, so to speak, and put myself out there and tell you what I plan on working on over this next I'm going to say this next school year. Things may change as I develop, but here we go. So one of the resources I've been looking up, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't finished reading it. I've been kind of skimming through it, is this book by Gerald Clickstein called The Musician's Way. There it is. It's a pretty hefty book. Again, I haven't gone all the way through it, but he does talk about, while creating a practice plan, having 5 areas to work on: new material, developing material, performance material, technical work, and musicianship work. So based on what he says in there, I'm going to tell you what I've decided I'm going to work on in my practice plan. So this is going to be something I work on in various orders and such on a weekly basis. I'm not going to try to do everything every single day. I'm going to mix and match it so I don't get burned out and frustrated and overwhelmed. Let's start with the new material. So this is something that I've barely learned or haven't learned at all, and I need to research it, break it down, explore it, go really, really, really slow. And for that, I'm going to do this piece by Dr. David Wallace called An Array of Irrevocable Light. It premiered at the Rock Camp about the year 2016. You can see it right there. And as you can see, he personalized it for me. It says, for Karen Hooper, who is indeed special. That's an inside joke that we have. I often joke that Mom always calls me special, so he caught on to that, and I thought that is just great. So in honor of him, I'm going to work on this. Plus, it's a fun way to explore my 7-string Viper and the effects that go with it. So that's going to be my brand new Take a Chance piece. And then for my developing material, it's actually going to be something I learned a long time ago. Some that I learned a long time ago. My teacher told me to always keep it underneath my fingers. And of course, I was a teenager. I knew everything, so I didn't. And now I regret it. So Mrs. Mothersbaugh, I am so sorry. You were right. I have it on record. I apologize. And that is Bach. Bach is tried and true for any string instrument. I'm sure any musician, any instrument period, but especially string instruments. I'm going to particular start to reintroduce myself to Partita number 3. And again, I learned it a long time ago, but it's been years. So in some ways, I'm going to be going back to the drawing board, but I'm going to make this my developing work. For performing material, I'm going to simplify things a little bit. I'm thinking in terms of, those days in class when kids ask me, can you play a song? And I'm like, I don't know what to play because I haven't practiced in so long. So I'm going to go back and do some tried and true Suzuki. This is book 4. I found it at Half Price Books, nice and cheap. I recommend that if you're looking for new material, go to used bookstores, see what there is available for you. But I'm going to do this. I'll also explore book 3, even book 2 and book 1. Later on, I'll go further into book 5, book 6, book 7, and all. Again, a lot of this material I've done before. I'm just going to rediscover it and even see if I can do things by memory and so on, so that I always have something ready. Now on to the technical work, things that build my skill set, starting with left hand. So as a violin player, I need to work on left hand, I need to work on bow hand. So for left hand, there's going to be 2 ways I go about it. I have this book of Sevchik. This is all finger pattern works. It starts on 1 string at a time. It goes on to multiple strings, different finger patterns. I'm going to practice this both acoustically on my 4-string violin and also on my electric violin. And I'm going to modify it for the multiple strings. But I'm going to use this just to build the left hand facility there. And in terms of scales and arpeggios, I'm going to work on modes. I'm going to go beyond major scale, minor scale. I'm going to work on modes, and for that resource, I am going to refer to Plugging In by Joe Denizen. He's another fantastic teacher at the Mark Wood Camp, and he did an excellent class on modes this year, and I'm going to, in a later video, do a reflection on that. But I'm going to use that and use some of the tips that he gives in there, as well as some other resources I've come up with along the way. I'll get to those in a later video. So that's on my left hand work. For my right hand work, I'm going to focus on rhythm and becoming more of a rhythm musician. As a violin player, I got used to doing things very long, melodically, and I need to do more rhythm, which is shorter. And, well, I'll get into that later. So for that, I'm going to refer to Tracy Silverman and his newly published book, The Strum Bowing Method. And in this book, he basically breaks down rhythm the same way that rhythm guitar players in bands do it. So it's going to be a completely different way of looking at things. He's done a few classes at the Mark Wood Camp before. He did one this year when he came by. But this is going to get more into it, and I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Part of becoming developing a better musician is knowing when to swallow pride. And so I'm going to swallow my pride, start at the very bottom, and slowly build my way up. I'm going to become a beginner all over again in terms of this particular technique. He also has a supplemental book about actual groove studies, or etudes, I guess you could say. I got the conductor's score so that I could practice this on multiple strings in multiple clefs and develop those skill sets. So I'm going to be doing that. He also has some cool videos I'll be looking at. Now let's go on to musicianship. I'm going to focus on jazz. Another great instructor at the Rock Camp, Matt Fonacoro. He's a piano, guitar, drum player, but he, particularly keys, he's amazing at the keyboard. He once said that in order to be an outstanding rock musician, you need to be a pretty good jazz musician. Those may not have been exact words, but you get the idea. So I'm going to focus more on jazz this year. It's not my absolute favorite genre, but it is a foundation for other things that I do want to learn. So one of the resources I'm going to use for that is Jamie Aebersold books. This is his very first volume. I'm going to be exploring this book a little bit. I have a couple other books where he has some jazz standards. I'm going to be going through those and listening and trying to memorize and so on. But I'm going to focus on jazz improv this year to help me out with that. I have a multi-effects pedal board, which is typically used with guitars, but I have it for my electric violin, and I'm going to sit down and really explore it. Maybe not necessarily every day, but just a few times a week, sit down and just go, okay, what does this do? What does this do? Do I like this sound? Ew, that sounded gross. Oh, hey, that sounded cool. And just learn what I like and don't like so I can craft my own sound and personalize it for my uses. I would love to be able to do things like get into a band and just jam along. I used to do that at my old church back when I lived in the Houston area. But if I'm going to add any value, I have to know what I have to contribute. Say hi to my cat, Odelia. But anyway, so I'm going to explore my pedal board. I'm going to find superior models to listen to, not only for the songs I'm trying to learn, such as the Bach, or an array of Irrevocable Light by Dr. Wallace. I'm going to pick an artist and research them and explore them. You know, I meet many great artists at this rock camp I attend, both as campers and as faculty members. And so I've gotten the chance to learn what influenced them. What did they listen to craft their sound? So I'm going to explore some of those artists. You know, again, Matt Vanacaro once said, if you want to sound like Elton John, don't just listen to Elton John, listen to what Elton John listened to. So I'm going to learn what influenced the people that influenced me, and I'm going to take time to research, you know, read their biographies, read what influenced their lives, you know, how they picked up on their techniques and so on. So I'm going to study those people so that I can learn from them, learn from their experiences. And finally, I'm going to just pick a song that I enjoy, whether it's a cheesy pop song, whether it's a song we do at church, whether it's a song I hear on the radio, whatever. I'm going to pick a song that I like, and I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn its chord structure, and I'm going to learn how to make it on my own. I might use chord charts, but most time I'm going to learn it by ear, so that I have to actually train myself to that. And those are my goals right now. Again, I'm not going to try to do everything every single day. That's a recipe for burnout and disaster. But every week I'm going to try to get a plan going on where I do each of those in various orders. Sometimes I'll do it on my electric violin. Sometimes I'll do it on my acoustic violin. I have a viola. Sometimes I'll do it on my viola. But that's my goal, I'm going to say, for this school year, is to get myself established on those. As I will refine that goal as things go. I may find myself accelerating some things. I need to challenge myself. I might find some things way over my head and I need to tone it down. That's just how it rolls. So I will be doing regular videos on my progress, and I hope you enjoy the journey I'm on. That is something I want to comment on, is that I am having to learn to swallow my pride and tell myself that I'm not supposed to be there already, that this is a learning curve for me, and it's not about the final product, about the final destination. It's about the process of getting there. It's about the journey. So I'm going to try to really focus more on the journey of becoming a better musician rather than this final goal where I have everything all together. I'm never going to have it all together. I'm human. And that's just how learning an instrument, being a musician, works. You never learn everything. There's always going to be something better you can do. And that's part of the magic. So I'm going to focus on the journey, and I hope you join me. Have a good one.